Mr. President, I rise today to join my colleagues in marking National Manufacturing Day, which will be celebrated across the country tomorrow. The simple fact is that manufacturing has been and continues to be a vital part of our economy, but coming from the state of Delaware, I know firsthand the challenges manufacturing has faced in the 20th century and the challenges it continues to face today. Almost every day I ride the Amtrak train from Wilmington, Delaware to Washington, D.C., and as I look out the window as we pass through the city of Newark, Delaware, I see the site of the old Chrysler assembly plant. And each time I see it, I think about what it was like going to the plant gates and visiting with friends and family and the thousands of men and women who worked shift for decades at this tremendous automobile manufacturing plant that made the Durango, and for decades before that, other models. And every time I see that site, which today is leveled and now being rebuilt, I'm reminded that for decades, there were men and women there who had one thing in common: good-paying, steady, high-quality manufacturing jobs. Chrysler, General Motors, and other manufacturers, which used to be at the center of my state's economy, each employing thousands of Delawareans, are today gone. And many families, many of our communities still feel the impact of those losses. But for the thousands of Delawareans who grew up with friends and family working every day at GM and Chrysler, at our steel mill or the Avon plant, other now gone manufacturing sites across our state, it's easy to be skeptical about the prospects for a revival of American manufacturing. So, Mr. President, I'm here today with my colleague from the state of Wisconsin to tell our fellow Americans that despite those harsh realities, there are real reasons for hope. Manufacturing still supports 25,000 jobs in my state. And since 2010, our economy, the growing American manufacturing sector, has created 870,000 new jobs. As production costs have gone up in our competitors, countries like China, and as the key input cost of energy has steadily come down, businesses have seen over the last decade that more reliable financial and legal and engineering structures and resources here in the United States and cheaper energy has made American manufacturing more competitive than it's been in decades. Just as important as the number of jobs created in the manufacturing sector is the quality and the compensation for those jobs. American manufacturing also today is responsible for 3/4 of all private sector research and development, just illustrating once again how innovative this sector has always been. How to stay ahead and to thrive in the modern world economy, manufacturing has to be on the cutting edge. But while American manufacturing is today resurgent, there's much more we can do together to build on this momentum. That's why Senator Baldwin and I are leading a campaign called Manufacturing Jobs for America to focus on 4 key areas where we together can strengthen American manufacturing. First, investing in America's workforce. Second, expanding access to capital. Third, opening up markets abroad. And fourth, creating the conditions necessary for growth. In the last Congress, the Manufacturing Jobs for America initiative brought together 27 senators to introduce 36 different manufacturing bills, half of which were bipartisan. And provisions from 8 of those bills are now law, including our bill to create a national manufacturing strategy that will, for the first time, lay out a proactive, comprehensive, long-term policy for investing in and strengthening American manufacturing, something all our major competitors have long had. The administration has also come forward with strong ideas and initiatives, from their investment in 9 new manufacturing hubs, innovation institutes around the country, to new Department of Labor job skills programs that would strengthen apprenticeships and job training. It's our hope that Manufacturing Jobs for America can continue to play an important role in investing in and scaling up these ideas so they can have national impact. We're optimistic we can continue together to build on the progress we've made and pass more of these bills in this Congress. Already, for example, the Career Ready Act has passed the Senate and is waiting to be taken up by the House. This bill would help prepare students for advanced manufacturing jobs by strengthening school counseling programs and educator professional development. Another important bill, the Innovators Job Creation Act, recently passed the Senate Finance Committee, and if passed into law, would help small manufacturers to invest in and scale up their R&D. Still, as we know all too well, passing legislation is never easy, and it could take months or even years to get these common sense bipartisan bills passed into law. But there's something Congress can do right now to help support our manufacturing sector. Just last week, I stood on this floor and urged my colleagues to reauthorize the Export-Import Bank that was allowed to expire earlier this year. The Ex-Im Bank has helped American companies, many of them manufacturers, to sell their goods around the world for more than 80 years, supporting 150,000 American jobs in just this past year. Each day we fail to reauthorize this critical tool for American manufacturers who are exporters. We put more and more American jobs at risk. Manufacturers like Boeing and GE are already moving good American jobs overseas. GE's announcement that it's moving 350 jobs from Wisconsin to Canada is a stark example of this new reality. And the reason is simple. GE and similar companies can't risk staying in a country that doesn't have a reliable export credit agency, a tool all of our competitors provide, often with much more robust resources than Ex-Im used to enjoy. Without the backing of such an agency, other countries won't even consider accepting project bids from GE, from Boeing, and from others. I think this is unacceptable. It should be unacceptable to all of our colleagues. It's time for Congress to recognize what's at stake for our economy, our manufacturing sector, and American workers if we continue to fail to step up and reauthorize the Ex-Im Bank. Finally, Mr. President, I'd like to briefly address a broader issue we face with American manufacturing, its reputation, its public relations image. While the changing face of manufacturing is a great thing, it's also a challenge because too often perceptions about manufacturing are stuck in the past. I've heard personally from parents and from guidance counselors who tell me they're reluctant to encourage their kids and their best students to pursue a career in manufacturing. Why? Because to them, folks from an older generation, manufacturing brings to mind dirty factory floors and dangerous work environments and lower wages. And understandably, they don't see these as the viable, promising career paths that today's advanced manufacturing truly offers. Their worries just don't match up with today's reality, where manufacturing jobs require higher skills than ever before, from hard math and engineering skills to the ability to think critically and work as part of a team. Most modern manufacturing jobs require a 2-year college degree. Many require more. So in my 5 years as a senator, I've had the opportunity to visit dozens of manufacturers up and down my state of Delaware that are creating new, high-quality, high-paying jobs, and I'm certain my colleague from Wisconsin has had the same experience and insight. In Delaware, one of those manufacturers is M. Davis, a woman-run, family-owned manufacturer that's been around over 140 years. They produce sophisticated equipment for industrial companies like Phillips 66, Air Liquide, and DuPont, jobs that require high-skilled workers. Another advanced manufacturer in my state is Accudyne. Far more than your typical company, they produce products not for average consumers, but they solve highly complex engineering and design problems for some of the world's most prominent firms, from Boeing to Airbus to Rolls-Royce. Both of these companies understand the only way to remain successful is to develop a highly skilled workforce, encouraging and supporting professional development and recruiting graduates from schools like Delaware Technical and Community College to the University of Delaware. Unfortunately, it's not just public perception that hasn't kept up with manufacturing's transformation. Job training programs have also lagged behind in preparing people with the skills they need to succeed in the advanced manufacturing jobs of today. And while I have more I'd like to say on that topic, let me, if I might, at this moment, just invite my colleague from the state of Wisconsin to add her views and her comments to this important conversation about manufacturing in America.
Senator from Wisconsin.
I thank you, Mr. President, and want to thank my good friend from Delaware. And like him, I do want to start my remarks with taking a moment to say that my thoughts and prayers are with the community of Roseburg, Oregon, as we have heard word of yet another senseless act of gun violence. And I hope all who are listening join us in our thoughts and prayers. Mr. President, I rise today to join my good friend from Delaware and to lend my voice in calling attention to an important day in America. Tomorrow, across the country, the hardworking Americans who get up every day to move our economy forward will create a collective chorus in celebration of National Manufacturing Day at thousands of events in villages, towns, and cities throughout our nation, manufacturers will open their doors Friday and show in a coordinated effort what manufacturing is today and what it isn't. I am so proud to join this effort because by working together during and after National Manufacturing Day, we can shine a spotlight on the need for America to address workforce readiness issues, connect with future generations, and recognize the important role manufacturing plays in creating an economy that works for everyone. In Wisconsin, we have a long and proud tradition of making things: paper, engines, tools, ships, and yes, cheese, brats, and beer. We possess one of the largest manufacturing sectors in the nation, supporting a very significant share of our workforce and exporting products and goods all over America and, in fact, the world. Manufacturing has long been the backbone of our Made in Wisconsin economy, so much so that we actually celebrate October as Manufacturing Month in Wisconsin. In my state and across our country, manufacturing is increasingly an engine of economic growth and innovation and a source of good-paying jobs with high wages and solid benefits. And that is why I strongly believe that middle-class families and small businesses and manufacturers that are working so hard to move our economy forward deserve to have both parties in Washington working together to grow our manufacturing economy and create jobs. I am so proud to join my colleague, Senator Coons, on the floor today to highlight National Manufacturing Day. And I want to thank him for his leadership and his partnership on our Manufacturing Jobs for America initiative. Our effort aims to build bipartisan support for legislation that will modernize America's manufacturing sector and help American manufacturers grow and create jobs and assist American workers in getting the skills that they need to succeed in the next generation of manufacturing jobs. Working together, we are trying to do our part to get Washington to focus on manufacturing jobs. Now, this shouldn't be a difficult task, but unfortunately, Congress has shown itself better at manufacturing one crisis after another instead of working across party lines to strengthen American manufacturing. The fact is, governing by crisis has distracted us from the important work of moving our manufacturing economy forward. So, before we all pat ourselves on the back for simply doing our job and keeping the government open for business, let's address one crisis that has not been addressed. 2 months ago, the Senate did its job and passed a long-term transportation bill with bipartisan support. That legislation sought to end this constant cycle of short-term measures. It puts people to work, rebuilding our roads and bridges and ports, and creates jobs and will boost our economy. It's also important to manufacturers because it makes an investment in a 21st century American infrastructure that provides businesses with the quality transportation system they need to move their goods to market. This legislation also includes another measure that is vital to manufacturers and businesses in Wisconsin and across America. We reauthorized the Export-Import Bank, which is an important tool that helps us create that level playing field, bringing fairness to global trade and giving American manufacturers the resources they need to fight and win against their global competition. However, after we included that in our long-term transportation and infrastructure package in the Senate, The House adjourned for the August recess without passing that legislation to reauthorize the Export-Import Bank and has failed to take action on it for 2 full months. Just this week, Republicans on the House Financial Services Committee voted in lockstep to block an amendment to reauthorize the bank. These actions and inactions have real impacts on workers, and they are being felt by Wisconsin workers and families right now. GE Power and Water announced this week that it plans to stop manufacturing gas engines in Waukesha, Wisconsin, and blamed the closure on the House of Representatives for not reauthorizing the Export-Import Bank. It is a stark reminder that when Congress fails to do its job, hard-working people can lose their jobs as a result. It is my hope that this reminder will be heard by Congress. It's also my hope that National Manufacturing Day will provide an opportunity for my colleagues to rally around on the need for us to come together and address the challenges we face to grow our manufacturing economy. The Wisconsin families that I work for depend on our manufacturing jobs, and I believe that if we work to give our workers a fair shot, we can compete against anyone. But one of the challenges we must meet is making sure that our workers have the skills that they need for the manufacturing jobs of the future. We are fortunate to have a very strong technical college system that is working to provide Wisconsin businesses a skilled workforce so that they can compete and grow. American manufacturing took a huge hit as a result of the 2008 financial collapse and ensuing recession. But through sheer grit and determination, we are coming back. U.S. manufacturing has added 876,000 jobs over the past 66 months. Over the past 12 months, manufacturing has added 124,000 jobs. But despite this positive trend, we need to do more. The sector needs to add 1.7 million jobs overall just to return to pre-recession levels. In Wisconsin, our economy isn't growing as strong as we need to create true shared prosperity. In fact, it's lagging behind national growth. The manufacturing sector that sustained our economy in Wisconsin for generations must move forward at a stronger pace if middle-class families are going to get ahead. One of the most important things that we can do is put a stronger focus on investing in STEM programs and career and technical education. I am proud to have co-founded the Career and Technical Education Caucus, otherwise known as the CTE Caucus, and worked with co-chairs, Senators Kane and Portman, to advocate for career and technical education. I believe that CTE is one of the most effective vehicles for responding to labor market changes and workforce readiness needs of business, particularly our manufacturers. We need to do more to ensure that students are better trained and better equipped for the high-skilled jobs of the future, especially in advanced manufacturing. Our business communities have been clear on the need for a highly trained workforce for in-demand fields, and CTE provides the knowledge and skills that can help drive stronger economic growth for our Made in America manufacturing economy. Now, in closing, I would like to urge my colleagues to join us tomorrow by visiting a local manufacturer in your state. National Manufacturing Day provides our nation with an important opportunity for us to show our commitment to the idea that manufacturing does not represent the jobs of yesterday. Senator Coons was talking about the branding issues. Well, today's manufacturing economy isn't your father's manufacturing economy, and today's factory isn't your grandfather's factory. It is a growing industry that has changed from the assembly lines of the past to high-tech innovation that will drive our future. Today, American manufacturing represents the jobs of tomorrow, providing a range of job opportunities in the area of skilled production, information technology, design, engineering, and science. Our next generation manufacturers need more skilled workers, and it is our job to work together to make sure that our economy has them. So let us join together and celebrate National Manufacturing Day and show that our commitment is a celebration of American manufacturing, and let's inspire the next generation of manufacturers. Again, I thank my colleague from Delaware and my colleague from Minnesota for their dedication to this vital issue.